Hello, and welcome to the tutorial for HTML Project 3A, the brown bear. Now, we should have just finished the Code Academy brown bear unit, also known as common HTML elements. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a little practice creating this exact same web page that they have here, but using brackets. So this is what it actually looks like. It's pretty plain, but it'll suit our purposes. Okay. So to start, we need to make sure that we're in our folder. That is the folder that is in our H drive, in our My Coding 2 folder, in our HTML and CSS unit folder. And then we go to the brown bear folder, project 3A. Now, like usual, what we want to do when using brackets is right-click on the folder and go down to Open as a Brackets project. Okay, that'll open up brackets. You might get an error message because it's looking for the latest file that you did. It likes to open that for you, but we don't. I don't even have that in here right now. So here's what we've got. So there's two things in here. Let me go ahead and open this up so we can take a look at that. And the two things are, we've got an HTML file called Brown Bear, and we've got a PDF file called the Brown Bear finished with markup elements. So before I get into that, let me just show you what our Brown Bear HTML file looks like currently. So I'm going to click on it and open it up, and here is what the file looks like. And let me open the live preview. So here's all the text from the Brown Bear website. If I bring it up, if you look at all the text that's right here, that is what we're seeing right here, okay? Except there's no markup language. So with no markup language, the whole file is just jumbled together, all the text, because it doesn't know what to do. Okay, so our task for this assignment is to add the markup language to make this look like the website is supposed to look. Oh, that was interesting. All right, so to help us with that, that's where this PDF file comes in. This other file, the Brown Bear finished with markup elements. So if you double click at that, open it up, this file opens up. And as you can see, this is basically a screenshot of the finished version of the page. However, it has some little annotations to tell you what markup element we're supposed to be using. It even has all of the links that we're going to need to use in order to mark up the links as well. So this is a little test of what we've been learning so far. So let's get to it. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And so here we are in brackets, and the first thing we want to do is let's save this again, because currently it's called brownbear.html, but as you probably already know, that's not what we want to call our very first file on a website. We want to call it index.html. So let's change the name of this. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Save As, and it's saving it right to the folder we opened from, and I'm just going to change the name of the file to index.html. Save. Okay. And now if I were to look at the folder that's holding these, there it is right there. So it didn't get rid of the old one. I just renamed it. So now we're working off the one called index. All right. So you may remember, first thing we need to do is to add some of the code that we call boilerplate code. Okay. So I'm going to come up to the top, hit enter. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add our doc type declaration. Now, if you remember, this doc type declaration basically tells the web browser what version of HTML we're using, and currently we're using HTML5. So I'm going to come down, and now I'm going to put in our HTML tag. Now notice our little autocomplete put the second tag right here at the top. We don't want it here. We want it down at the bottom. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to paste it down here where it belongs. Okay, because everything needs to be in between the HTML tags. All right, so next, I'm going to come back up to the top, line 2. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my head element. If you remember, the head element includes information that the end user, that is the person looking at your website, doesn't see. So this is all invisible stuff. So I don't want the head tags in the same line like this, so I'm going to hit enter again, make a little room, and then I'm going to come up and I'm going to go ahead and put in the elements that I need to put in. So the first thing I'm going to put in is my my meta tag. So I'm going to go ahead and follow my indentation. Now notice I've indented 4 spaces. Okay, so I'm going to stay true to that, and I'm going to do 4 spaces here too, because the meta tag is a child of the head tag. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and type meta, and notice that as I started typing it, brackets is kind of cool. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Can we help you out? Looks like you might be doing one of these 3 things. So as a matter of fact, we are. We're doing meta tag. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and put in char set. That's for character set equals, and put in UTF-8, basically English. And next, we're going to put in our title. And we'll go ahead and call this Brown Bear. And there we go. And we have our head. So next, I'm going to come down to the closing head tag. Make sure they're lined up equally. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to enter in the body tag, the opening body tag. So now it's trying to put the closing body tag right next to it. We don't want that. Remember, we want the body tag down at the bottom, just on top of the HTML. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to come down, hit enter, and I'm going to paste it right down here, the HTML, but I'm going to bring it in 4 so that it lines up with the top one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now our body tag lines up. And now notice that when I click on the body tag, everything, all the content is inside of a box right here, because that's what's that's our body tag. So next, let's go ahead and let's get started adding the tags to mark up our various elements. So the first thing we want is, and if I bring over our file that we're working from, first thing we want to mark up is the title, and that is with an H1 tag. So I'll just bring this down a little bit, and you can see the you'll be able to see the changes that I make. All right, so the brown bear, we're using an H1 title tag. So H1. Here's one of the instances where that autocomplete can be a bit of a pain in the butt, but I will just roll with it, and I will cut this, and I will paste it over here because we want it on the outside of it. And you can see as it instantly made the brown bear title. Next, we're going to, let's see what we've got going on here next. This next bit of text that starts with the brown bear and ends with the Himalayan brown bear. So from here to here is supposed to be inside of a paragraph tag. So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, it's doing the autocomplete. I don't want that there, so I'm going to cut it out of there, and I'll put it at the end. And now notice what I have, the text I have in there is now in a separate box. Okay, so I like to keep things nice and neat, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this up, hit enter, should bring that down one, hit enter, and I'm going to backspace this until it lines up with the other paragraph. Actually, let me back up. I made a little mistake. This H1 tag is not supposed to be lined up directly with the HTML tag. It is a child of the body tag, so I goofed. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in where it needs to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. and then I'll do the same with the paragraph tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's 4 in from its parent. And I'll do same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring these in, 2, 3. And I'll actually bring that in. Actually, that works right there. That's fine. All right, so now we've got our paragraph tag. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You could just leave the paragraph tag right in front and right at the end. I just like it this way. I think it's neater. Okay, easier to look at. So the next item, we've got our brown bear link. Okay, and here's the actual address that we're going to use. So instead of just copying and pasting that, I'm going to walk you through it a little bit just to make sure that we're understanding what we're doing with that. So when you have a link, you want to start off with an A tag, okay, for A for anchor. And once again, we don't want it there. We want the opening tag before the text, the closing tag after the text. And then what we need to do to add the link is in the opening tag, go ahead and put a space in there, and we're going to put in our href attribute and then the address. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing href and watch what happens. Href, nothing happened. So I was looking for the autocomplete, but it didn't happen. So whatever, I'll just go ahead and finish it. Okay, href equals, and then I'll do quotes, and now it's ready for the address. And I don't want any of those, so I'm going to click away from that. And I'm going to come over here. Here's our address right here. This HTTPS brown bear. I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. Now, I'm not going to do the target yet. I'll talk about that in a second. And it's also grabbing one of the parentheses, so I'll have to get rid of that in a second. So it's kind of being, it might be easier if I just go ahead and click on the link. It opens the page, and then it's just easier to copy the link itself. So let me go back to that. All right, and then bring back my PDF file. All right, so now I've got the link, this link. I'm going to put it right where it goes, right here. Paste. So there we go. All right, here's the link, which when you click on this text is supposed to take you to Wikipedia. Now, this second part, this target equals blank. Now, if you remember from our previous lesson, what this does is this opens up the link in a new tab or new window, which is what we want. So I'm going to come right to the end of the link, put a space in there, type target. Notice it wants to do an autocomplete, so I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to say, cool, you know what I want to do? I want to do the target, so I'm going to click on that, and then it even gives me the options. The one I want is blank. I'm going to click on that, and then there we go. So now when I click on this link, it'll go take me to Wikipedia, but it'll open it up in a new tab. Watch. There it is, new tab. Yay, that's what I wanted. Okay, good. All right, so far so good. So we've got our first link. So this next bit of text, the following are subspecies of bears. That needs to be in a paragraph tag. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go ahead and put in my opening paragraph tag. It did the autocomplete, which is kind of a pain. Cut, bring it to the end, paste, and then there we go. It's showing on a separate line like it's supposed to. Okay? Next, we have a list, an unordered list. Okay, UL, unordered. And that goes from this Arctos down to the Nelsonny. So from here to here is our unordered list. So I'm going to come up, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to, actually I goofed again. I'm not following my indentation. I need to be a little bit sharper with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it's easy to make mistakes. So when you guys do that, I'm a little bit understanding because I get how it is. Now, also before I move on, you see my paragraph tags? They look a little different from up here. I have everything in the middle. I want to stay consistent. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and enter, bring that down, enter, bring that down, bring that back. Okay, so just trying to stay consistent for you. All right, unordered list. I'm going to not make the same mistake twice. I hit tab, but to bring it right in, but you can just stay consistent. You can just use the space button. So now I'm going to go ahead and consider this unordered list as a child of the paragraph. No, I won't. I'll just leave it as is. I'm not going to confuse the issue. So, unordered list, UL. Now, it likes to put the tag, the closing tag. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And where do I want it? I said I wanted it down here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it right under here. Paste. So now I'm going to tab this so that it's even with this. Now, we've got all our list items. Now, remember, and I don't have it marked on this sheet, maybe I should have, but for your an unordered list and an ordered list, for each one of these items, it's called a list item, so you need the LI tag, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put the tag, indent it right here. I'm going to use the little fact that it wants to do the autocomplete to my favor. So what I'll do is I'll just cut this. Hopefully it won't mess with and it does. All right, so I'll just put this back. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 in from that, okay? So I'm just putting in the list item tags first, and then I put the content in. So let's go ahead and do that. So LI, I'll go ahead and cut this, and paste it in there, and then line this up where it needs to go. Kind of high maintenance. All right. So LI, and then do the same thing. And put that in there. Line it up like it's supposed to be, right underneath the other ones, and then one last one. So LI, I will cut this, cut, paste, and then I need to line it up. All right, that looks good. All right, so we've got our list. So let's see, how does it coming out? So if we click over here, we can see that it's coming out pretty good. So far, so good. And now we need to do our next paragraph tag. The following countries have the largest population of brown bears. So this area right here needs a paragraph tag. So I'm going to go ahead and give it one. Once again, cut, put that where it goes at the end, and then line this up. All right, and I will go ahead and bring this down so I'm consistent with what I've been doing. All right. All right, so next, we have another list that we need to do. This one's an ordered list. Here, now I'm gonna do a little shortcut. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna copy this unordered list. Just save myself a little time, and I'm gonna paste it right here. And then I'm gonna make some little changes so that I can make it an ordered list. What do you think I need to do to make it an ordered list? Yep, I just gotta get rid of the O. Get rid of the U and put an O. So it's now an ordered list. Let me show you. See, right here. But it's got the same content, so what I need to do is I need to get rid of what's in there for each one of these so that I can put what's supposed to be in there. That was just a little shortcut, so I didn't have to retype all this. All right, so we know Russia goes into the first list item. We know United States goes into the second list item. Canada goes into the third list item. And was that it? Was there only 3? I think there was. Let's double check. Yep, only 3. So I can get rid of this one. All right. So let's see what we've got so far. So there we go. So far, so good. All right. So next, according to this, we've got a picture of a bear. Now, we've got a couple of things going on here. Okay. This picture, this is a complicated link. Not only do we have a picture that we're using a link to a website to get, which is, where is it? Here it is right here. This is the link to the website for the picture of the bear. So let me click on it and you can see. This is the picture that we're getting, and here's the link to it, okay? So let me bring these other stuff back. But we've also got another link in here that's linking it to a page. So in other words, we got this picture from a site, but then we want it to be a clickable picture that'll take us to yet another site, and that's what this is. It's just the Wikipedia page. So these are the two different links that we're dealing with in here, okay? The actual location of the picture and then the location of the link where we want it to take us after we actually click on it. So it's a clickable picture, which is kind of cool. So let's start off by getting the picture of the bear, okay? So we know that what we need to do, just resize this and then scroll up so we can see what we've got going on. All right, so we know what we need to do is we need to put in our image tag with our source attribute and then the address. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start right here. I'm going to give it the indentations. Bring that up. I don't need to. Okay. I don't need to have that extra space. So I'm going to type in my image tag, first part of it, and it's coming up. So if I click on it, it's not really helping out much at all, so I'll just type it out. So SRC, remember that stands for source. Click on it, it gives us our equal sign and then our parentheses. And so the location of the picture needs to go in here, okay? And don't forget, we also need to have a closing tag on it, a closing bracket. Image is one of those weird tags that it only has one tag. It doesn't have an opening and a closing tag like most tags do. It just has one tag with an opening bracket, a closing bracket. So here's how that is supposed to look to start off with, and then we need to put the address of the actual picture right in between these quotes. Now we have this open in another. Okay, here it is. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, if you don't feel like copying it and you just want to type it right from here, this is the address, but this is just easier. Why not go with easy? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paste this, and as soon as I do, we should see a picture of a bear right there. Voila, picture of a bear. Okay, so but we're not done yet because we want this picture of a bear to be an actual clickable link that when we click on it will take us to another site. Okay, so to do that, we need to put the entire image tag inside of, guess what? An A tag, a set of A tags. So here's our opening A tag, and we've got the address of where we're going and our closing A tag. So let's do this step by step. So let's go ahead and put an A tag in the front of our image tag. Now it's doing that thing again where it's trying to do the autocomplete. So let me get rid of the closing tag and put it at the end where it goes. Okay. And now let's come back to the opening A tag, hit enter to give us a space. And now we need to use our href attribute to put the site that we want the web browser to go to when we click on the picture. So href, and we say equals, parentheses, and then the actual address of where we're going goes inside of the quotation. So let's go and let's find that address. I already clicked on it before. Here it is. It's just going back to the Wikipedia site for that. So copy. Let's go back to brackets. And I'm going to paste it right here. Okay. Now, if I was just to come over here, if I click on this, this is now a link. Notice I've got my little hand there. Okay. That means it's a link. However, I want it to be a link that opens up in a separate tab. So if you remember what we did with the other link, right at the end of the link, we need to put in the attribute target equals blank. So right here, right after the link, put a space, and we put T and it's target, and now it did an autofill for us. Target equals quotations. We want it to be blank, which means it opens up in a new tab. And that's how that is supposed to look. It's kind of complicated, but if you follow it step by step like I just did, it'll work. So now watch what happens. When I click on this link, it'll open up in a new tab. Voila, there we go. That's what we wanted that to do. So that's good. Okay, so next we've got, but I'm not done, am I? I need to do my alt description. Now, if you remember the alt description, that's for specifically for people who are blind, who are using software to, quote, read the page. It reads it to them. If you have the alt there, it will read it to them. If you don't, they miss out. So let's make sure that nobody misses out. So right after JPEG, hit space, type alt. Notice we get a little autocomplete there. So alt equals, that's our attribute, and then we want to type in what it is. So a picture of a brown bear. Okay. And then there we go. Actually, you know what? I already had the text right here. So I'll just get rid of this text because I had it right there. That text was what was supposed to go in there. So picture of a bear, picture of a brown bear, whatever. Okay, so this is our picture. So now we've got left, looks like we've got one thing left, which is a link to Wikipedia. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to put it in a paragraph tag first. And the reason why is, if you look at it, you see how it's on the same line with the brown bear? Now, I suppose we could do a break too. That would work as well. That would make it go to the next line. But putting it in a paragraph tag does it just as well. So let's we'll do both. We'll see what happens. So if I put in a break tag, don't need the space. It brought it down to the next line. So I suppose that works. We can do that if you want. I could have put it here. I could have put it there. I could bring this down to the next level. Either way, you could make it a paragraph tag and then put the link in it, or just do a break. So either one of those is acceptable. If I put that there, that would be a break, and then this would be the link. So like I said, either one's acceptable to get you to the next line. You just don't want it to be on the same line as the picture, okay? All right, so this last bit, this needs to be a link to Wikipedia. Now, if you remember, here's the address. If you remember, what we need to do first is we need to put an A tag around it. Anchor. Once again, our autocomplete, trying to be helpful, but it's kind of a pain. So we'll cut that. We'll cut the end tag out of there, and we'll put it after the text where we want it. Then we come back to the opening tag, hit space, and here's where we put our href attribute. Okay, so href. If I want, I can click on that, and it is going to give us our equals, and then parentheses, and we need the address for the link to Wikipedia. So I think I still have that open. Here it is right here. Copy. And I will put it right in between the parentheses where it goes. Paste. And don't forget, we're not done. We want to make sure that this opens to a blank page. So we go to the end of the link before the closing tag, okay, which is right here, okay. Hit space, and then we put in target. Got a little autocomplete there. Clicked on it, then we click on blank, and then there we go. Now let's bring up our site that we're working on. Let me go ahead and save this just to make sure we're good. And now, here we go. You click on this link, it opens up. You click on the picture, it opens up in a new tab, and we got another link right here where it opens up in a new tab as well. And here we go. It's plain, but it works. When you're done, your page should look like this. All right. Hope that was helpful. We'll see how you do.